Hi, I'm Sound, and what you just heard was an example of nostalgia through common recognition. If you did not feel the same way as me about this, you may not have had access to such environments. However, sounds like these impact our minds just as feelings impact our hearts, the emotional connection through repetitive occurrence. This is Sound, and this is Immersion. Join the cult as we dive deeper into immersive technologies that tug on our empirical experience through gaming. There are 4 eras of sound: 1877 to 1925, also known as the acoustic. Following that, in 1925 to 1945, is the electrical era. 1945 to 1975, the magnetic, and 1975 to the present day is digital. The first game created to use sound was Pong. This game was situated here. Some examples of what you may have heard in the magnetic era sound like this. Although this was not a huge leap in sound, it was however a great depiction of feedback on players, which entailed an increased gaming experience. Sound design, since its humble beginnings, has come a long way since the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research Automatic Computer, also known as the Sysrac, a 50s computer able to generate music in real time. The first commercial PCs were IBM and Apple systems. These allowed us to listen for the first time in a way never before. During the 70s, when game development was an emerging industry, computers were only able to emulate a couple of sound waves, known as the saw and square, followed by the triangle and sine. One of the first home consoles that provided a more complex sound design would include the Nintendo Entertainment System. This device had revolutionized the gaming marketplace at the time of its release. The games were brilliant and the sounds complemented them. Because of how Nintendo's music worked, almost all games produced under their name used the square sound waves, meaning that most games would sound similar but with different tones. The flexibility of sound implementation on these systems would entail an immersive gaming experience compared to its competitors. Nintendo in later years would improve these implementations with the release of digital sound. For example, the first Doom. Sound improves the experience that the players have during each session. Without it, the entirety of the game would seem dull or bland, not only because of the use of loops and effects, but also because it was the first game of its genre to implement the use of 3D sound. With the third-dimensional sound added, a whole new layer of immersion arose that shocked gamers of that generation. In the following video we'll show you how the game would feel with and without sound, and see how much of an impact that sound makes on you as a player. From the philosopher Ingo Ekman, in Meaningful Noise, he speaks about how one main function of sound in games is to create and enhance emotional impact. This further proves the importance of audio in games. We have seen thus far how sound has been orientated to enhance the experience of players. As in film, a movie without music can strip away the emotional connection of a scene. Games are not distant from this truth as well. Ingo further explains how the potency of sound is also rather well exploited, at least in contemporary gaming. The model for sound design in these games is often that of film sound. Game sound should be cinematic or bigger than life. An evolution of sound design in games has brought us to an era where the importance of sound design is as relevant as gameplay itself. More recent in terms of sound design, we can look at the ever so popular Overwatch. This particular game involves a huge algorithm for sound. For example, you can hear an enemy's footsteps louder than an ally's footsteps. Overwatch has a threat system that determines who's the greatest threat to you in the most immediate case. The way Blizzard took to sound design is one of the best sound implementations in the world in terms of spatial recognition. This allows the player to be fully aware of their situation. In fact, Jeff Kaplan, a game designer for Overwatch, stated, "I want the sound to be so apparent you would be able to play this game blind." With that, immersion on players with this game is very apparent due to its success, and sound is partly to blame for this. To be frank, sound is one of the most important parts to a game, from how complex systems can be to how they affect us as a gamer. Sound has come a long way since its basic consoles and soundboards, which only enhance immersion with every beat dropped. And with that comes a great game. Thank you.